time than he might have otherwise had. So with that, we'd like to invite State Representative Ron Young to come on up here to the stage. Please give him a hand. What we're going to do tonight is Representative Young is going to have about 3 minutes to introduce himself, explain his candidacy, and then he will have to put up with some pestering of questions from myself and my cohort, Greg Sasse, and we will have opportunity also to take questions from you in the audience. When we do that, we'll have a microphone to go around, so if when it comes time for questions, just raise your hand, wait for the microphone to come to you so that you can ask the question and everyone can be heard. Then we'll wrap up with 2 minutes of closing remarks from Representative Young, and at the end, you will get, as you exit the room here, a straw poll ballot for the 61st District State Representative. So we would like to ask you to complete that ballot. So with that, we will give the microphone to Representative Young for his opening comments.
Thanks, Chuck. It's good to be here. It's almost like down home week. I think I recognize almost everybody in the audience. Well, you know, this is my 5th term as state representative. I served from '97 through 2004. Was termed out of office, never intended to go back again. Went back to work at my business. I've operated a search firm here in Mentor for the last 31 years now. So I'm a citizen legislator. Bill Batchelder, the current Speaker of the House, who's an affirmed conservative, I think many of you know him, called me and asked me to run again. So here I am. Just a couple of quick comments. The Young that was mentioned, as a potential supporter of regionalism in Dick's presentation is not me. We're related by name only. Although I've met him before and he seems like a fine man, but nonetheless, that was not me. A little bit about me in reference to regionalism. I have supported legislation to get the United States out of the United Nations. I was just involved in a struggle to eliminate a potential CONCOM, Ohio supporting such a thing. Was staunchly against that in Columbus. So I think I've consistently stood against regionalism. I think we've done some good things in Columbus this term. I'm sure this is the most conservative General Assembly and the most conservative governor that I've ever served with. Not to say that we've done everything perfectly, but we've done some extraordinary things that I never thought I'd see done in Ohio before, such as actually cutting the budget, eliminating an $8 billion budget hole without a tax increase, which they said was impossible. Finally, we've done something about the e-check. We've privatized it to a certain extent, decentralized it. So we've done some extraordinary things that I didn't think would be done in Ohio. But as I'm sure some of you here will point out to me, we're certainly not perfect. So with that, I'm ready to take whatever questions, or at least I'll try. Oh, I should add this. In the list of organizations standing firmly against regionalism, the John Birch Society was not mentioned. And they have a website. It's jbs.org, I believe. Is that the website? Dave is the expert on the John Birch Society in Lake County. In fact, northeastern Ohio. Is it jbs.org?
jbs.org.
That's an excellent source of information if you want to learn more about regionalism. By the way, Dan Troy was mentioned as the co-chair, I think. Or what was his title in Ohio? The co-chair of regionalism. There is a distinguished young lady here this evening, Lori Dinalo, who I'm supporting, who is running against Dan. He's running for state representative again. You probably, if he is that strong on regionalism, and I know Dick, and I trust Dick, you certainly don't want him as your state representative. Lori, on the other hand, is a true conservative, a true Republican, and somebody you can trust. So all that being said, I'm ready to be accosted. Go right ahead.
I have the first question, but no microphone. We'll have to share the microphone. The other one didn't work.
Is it a friendly question?
Hi. I hope it's friendly. This is not a question I had planned, but after listening to that talk on regionalism, I got to tell you, I'm stunned. I see NOACA everywhere. Working downtown Cleveland, it's into everything. Something that concerns me both about that, the growth of regionalism and the organizations promoting it, is something that Newt Gingrich mentioned in his book To Save America, which full disclosure, I would have been a Gingrich delegate had he won Ohio. As it is, I'm going to be sitting in Mentor watching things. But he pointed out that most of the rules we live by are not democratically enacted. They're rules by agencies like the EPA. No one in the EPA is elected. The FCC, the FTC, and an alphabet soup of I don't even know how many organizations. They promote rules, they change rules all the time, no one votes on them, no one even knows what they are. This whole growth concerns me. I just wondered what your reaction is to that.
I can say, all I can say about that is it just permeates all of government and culture in this country. And when we recognize specific things that are being done wrong, we can fight to pass legislation as legislators to stop those things. The federal EPA, I first ran into the problem that you're talking about when I tried to eliminate the E-check, when I first ventured into politics. That was one of the major things that just infuriated me when I saw the government telling us we had to take our cars to these locations and have the little probes put up our tailpipes. You know, that just seemed extremely intrusive to me. They weren't even wearing gloves, but anyway. Exactly, yeah, right. So I tried to do something about it, and I was elected, and I went to Columbus, and I tried to enact legislation, only to find out that even if we passed something in Ohio, that the federal EPA would then come into Ohio, and they would say, okay, you're not going to have your cars tested any longer. That means that we have to remove these theoretical tons of pollution. Theoretical tons, because no one really knows how much are being put into the air from automobiles as opposed to coal-fired power plants, as opposed to steel plants, etc. But they estimate so many tons of pollution were being removed through the E-check. And because so many tons would no longer be removed, because we no longer have the E-check, they would have to be removed from our steel plants, for instance. And that would mean that the steel plants would now have to install these new scrubber systems on their power plants. And that would cost so many hundreds of millions of dollars. And we did a study, and according to all the studies we found, it would cost Ohio at least 200,000 jobs. So I couldn't eliminate the E-check because I couldn't get the support in Columbus to do it because the federal EPA threatened to come in and essentially shut down manufacturing in Ohio if we did. So there's an example of what you're talking about, where you have these bureaucracies that really, in many ways, run our country. And it is extremely scary, and all we can do is keep working to try to change it. And there are some things we've done, but they've been on a very limited scale.
Okay.
So,
Justin?
It's working.
Okay, can you go right here? Okay. Okay. Representative Young, there's been a plan put forth by Democrats in Columbus to create a health insurance exchange in Ohio sooner than later. There doesn't appear to be any bipartisan support for this idea. What would be the advantages and disadvantages of creating this health insurance exchange sooner than later?
Well, frankly, I can't see any advantage